President Obama. We want to get reaction from the other side of the aisle. Joining us now from Capitol Hill is one of the leaders in the Tea Party movement, Republican Senator Jim DeMint of South Carolina. Senator, good morning to you.
Well, good morning. It's good to be with you.
Good. I want to first talk about Senator Mitch McConnell's proposal. New proposal announced late yesterday, I should say, that would allow the president to raise the debt ceiling 3 times through 2012. Scott Pelley mentioned earlier on in this broadcast there seemed to be a sense of relief in Washington this morning. Do you have that same sense of relief? And what are your thoughts on Senator McConnell's deal?
Well, Republicans weren't elected last November to make it easier to spend and borrow and add to our debt. That's not our plan. And unfortunately, the president, unlike what he just said, has not sent us a proposal. The only thing we've gotten in writing from the president was to increase our debt more than $10 trillion. Republicans are working together on a plan. This idea that Republicans will not vote to increase the debt limit is wrong. I've been working with House members and senators. We're going to introduce a plan that would give the president an increase in the debt limit, but it's contingent on cutting spending and capping spending over several years and giving the states the opportunity to decide if we're going to balance our budget sometime in the next decade. It's a very reasonable proposal, but I think you'll see that coming out of the House over the next few days.
Well, can I ask what's different about this proposal now? Because, of course, the president says the Democrats are willing to touch entitlements here, but Republicans have been steadfast in their belief that you cannot raise taxes. So are there any revenue measures in this new plan?
Well, history tells us the only way to raise revenues is to get the economy going again. And one of the worst things you can do to the economy is increase taxes on small businesses, which is the group that's in this category that the president's talking about. The top wage earners in America are already paying the highest portion of national taxes of any country in the world. 10% pay over 70%. And what the president's proposing will bring in such a small amount of revenue, it doesn't even deal with the problem. So his proposal is totally political. And again, he has not made any proposal in writing to deal with entitlements and to deal with any specific cuts. So the president talks a lot, but we can't vote on a speech. What we're going to see as Republicans is, I think what we should have done a couple of months ago is to put our plan on the table, recognizing the need to raise the debt limit. Republicans will go along with that if we can get significant cuts and move our country towards a balanced budget.
But is this the issue? It comes back to taxes again. Will Democrats even remotely agree to anything that the Republicans propose that doesn't have any additional revenue, some tax increases?
I don't know. If they insist on taxes, again, it's just for political reasons. The revenue they're talking about for corporate jets or big oil is such a small amount of money that it's not going to make a difference in our deficit. So what we need to do is get the Democrats to agree, first of all, that we're going to balance our budget. Every family, every business, almost every state has to do that. And if once we agree on that, we can sit down and talk about whether or not we're going to raise taxes, whether or not we're going to cut spending in this area or that. But it doesn't make any sense to continue just putting everything on the table that we want and then borrowing more money to do it.
All right. Senator Jim DeMint, thank you for taking the time and speaking with us this morning. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
All right.